All right, guys, get a load of this. Okay, listen to this news item from Fox News. Here we go. The Trump administration, after years of litigation, has settled lawsuits with Tea Party and other conservative groups who say they were unfairly targeted by the IRS under the Obama administration. Attorney General Jeff Sessions announced early Thursday, that's today, that the Justice Department had entered into settlements with Tea Party groups whose tax-exempt status was significantly delayed by the IRS dating back to 2013, quote, based solely on their viewpoint or ideology, unquote. The settlements involve payments to the plaintiffs and an apology from the IRS. The targeting scandal drew heavy attention in 2013 when the IRS admitted it applied extra scrutiny to conservative groups applying for nonprofit status. Lois Lerner, then head of the exempt organizations unit responsible, became the public face of the scandal, though other IRS officials were involved as well. Stop. Lois Lerner is garbage. She became the public face. What about the less than public face? Who was responsible for targeting conservative groups and sicking the federal government's attack dog, the IRS, on them? Who was responsible? Well, the president runs any party. Barack Obama was the president, and he sicked the IRS on conservative groups. Now, if you're listening to the show for any amount of time, you're probably conservative, which means you would have been a victim. Maybe you were a victim of the Democrat attack dog. So now tell me something. If you're conservative, obviously you know this is wrong because you're an intelligent individual. Let's say you're not. Let's say you're a Democrat voter. How do you jive? How do you connect being a good, moral, decent person, as I'm sure you think yourself to be, with being a member of a party that goes after the other party through the IRS simply because they have a different political vision? Are you proud to be a member of that party? Are you proud to align yourself shoulder to shoulder with people who would do underhanded things like this, violate our Constitution, undo what America is all about, simply to put some money in their pockets or get some power, or at least a taste of power? Are you comfortable being a Democrat in the wake of this? Oh, my friends, if you are, you need psychological counseling at the least. I would never align myself with any scummy organization. And if you're a Democrat, then you have. It's Thursday. It's Riell Truth. We'll be right back.
Ranch Restaurant in Greeley reminds everyone the difference between a child safe at home and a child missing can be as little as a few simple rules on how to return home. Set a curfew for your child and have them routinely call to check in with you. This reminder is from Ranch Restaurant, 746th Street in Greeley. The perfect place for lunch. Call ahead for orders at 970-356-1411. That's 356-1411. I'm Joe Jacobs, CEO of the Patriot Trading, and I'd like to thank all of our customers for doing business with us over the years. Because of you, we are celebrating 20 years in business. So here's to you for allowing us into your cars, offices, homes, computers, iPods, and anything else you into us, but most importantly, for doing business with us. We give you the use to disturb the comfortable at allamericans.com. The Tinfoil Nation tunes in every day from 9 to 10 a.m. for economics with attitude, and we continue to deliver gold and silver right to your doorstep, privately, securely, timely, and most importantly, complaint-free. So look more about gold and silver. Visit us at allamericans.com or simply call us at 800-951-0592 to place an order.
You leaving it like that overnight?
No.
Okay, give me 1 minute. All right, my friends, the joke is this. Turns out everybody's been colluding with Russia except Donald Trump. Tucker Carlson, Mark Stein from last night. Go.
Mark Stein is an author and columnist. He joins me tonight. Mark, I want to
About 8:30. Is that okay to leave these things here? What time do you do that? Tomorrow morning? Yeah. You don't get up in one too? Yeah, you don't use it, do you? Yeah, but it's alright, it's all. Okay, yeah, that's all ready to be. It's all prepped and ready. So, I now have the texture. He doesn't have texture. Okay. So I gotta get the gun and have texture. Everything's all sealed up. Yeah. And you got gloves. Alright, so for today you're all finished. Yeah. Well, because you're leaving now, right? No, I'm on the air now. Okay. Okay. Who am I? Okay. You're gonna get arrested, eh? I'm gonna be going out for a while. You're gonna get out the rest of the day. Text me when you want to come back. If I'm here, I'll say come. Okay, cool. Alright, if not, then do it like early in the morning or 8:30. So thank you. Alright, yourself out. Yeah,
Alright, thanks. You know, Mark Stein is consistently one of the most insightful, intelligent people out there, which is why you're going to be hearing more from him on my show. Item from the Activist Post. At the very fundamental level, most Americans don't even realize they live in an empire. 250,000 U.S. troops in 100-plus countries around the world and a $700 billion budget? Not worth pondering. The credit for this astonishing ignorance goes to the tightly controlled corporate media and the educational system. Once the topic of empire is completely eliminated from the vernacular, half of the logic disappears in the discussions about wars, unquote. Folks, let's think about this. Because my thinking has changed over the last several years. Look at the world. Mostly, not completely, but mostly, it sucks. It's dangerous. It's getting more dangerous. It's unlawful, unruly, uncivilized, unwashed, uneducated. That's most of the planet Earth. So who controls the world? Well, nobody controls the world, but the United States comes closest to controlling the world, and that's a good thing. It's a good thing because someone civilized has got to control the world. Otherwise, chaos will take over. So America has a $700 billion military budget. We've got bases in over 100 countries around the world. I'm starting to think that that's a pretty good idea. Look at the horrors being perpetrated in the Middle East. Look at the horrors being perpetrated in Africa. Look at the horrors being perpetrated now by Muslims across Europe. Do we want that kind of social AIDS, that kind of social Ebola to continue to spread? Do we really trust these nations, these peoples, to run their own international affairs, to do things as they wish, and we'll keep our hands off? Is that really what's best for America? Is it what's best for the world? Well, maybe it's a function of age, but the older I get, the more I think, no. No. There's got to be a grown-up in the room, or the kids are going to go bananas. America is that grown-up. And as a force for civilization, I think maybe it's a damn good thing that we keep other nations honest. And that requires a measure of control. And so while the idea of being the world's policeman does not appeal to me, it may well be better than the options. We may need to be America, the world's policeman. Who else will be? Not Europe, not anyone else. Interesting. Give me a call, let me know what you think. This is a call-in show after all. We'll take a break and we'll be back. More Riell Truth.
Former Dr. Nicholas, do not thousands of reasonable competition every year. Anxiety is suicide, violence, stability, providing a job well done with your performance. Stucco, Stoneman, our associates with Bolton, 303 921 7310. Alarm and housing brand, Stucco protect the Bolton and Northern Colorado area.
If you have any health challenges that concern you, if you think yes, you are ready to evolve yourself. Call today and qualify for a free paid treatment. 970-667-4669.
I'm Dr. Sam, chiropractor, radio host, author of Solitude in Healthcare Paradigm for Birthday. I all natural approach to affordable and can show improvement as little as 1 to 3 feet old. A holistic health starts with a healthy life plan, and those who execute that plan over existing course catch up, heal, and thrive. I guarantee. If your health is fading on prescription drugs, if you want your energy back, pain-free, or focus on unresolved personal issues, call me and let's get you in the best shape of your life. Visit with me, doctor.
We are located at Overland Route South in the Fort. Call 970-667-4669. OLYourself.com.
So, my friends, when Donald Trump was talking about draining the swamp, what did you think it was going to look like? Obviously, it was going to invite fighting, resistance from the swamp, and it has. Also, you're going to see members of the swamp seeing that they can't contend with Trump and the American people, and so they would leave. And so we have a couple of scumbags named Bob Corker and Jeff Flake who have decided to resign. What they won't tell you is they decided to resign because they were about to get their asses kicked out of Congress. Here's a guy who agrees with me by the name of Rush Limbaugh.
Take a break here at the top of the hour.
My friends, let me interrupt with a question. If you're listening from Arizona, you've elected Jeff Flake and John McCain. So my question is, what the hell is wrong with the voters of Arizona? Yeah, you voted for Republicans in name only, R-I-N-O, rhinos, and John McCain just double-crossed the entire nation by killing the Obamacare repeal replace. So voters of Arizona, you've got a lot to answer for. You better stop voting stupidly. Flake is leaving? Good. Vote for a conservative to replace him. John McCain, it doesn't say he's leaving? Good. Send him a message that he also needs to drag his sorry ass out of politics and replace him with a real, honest-to-goodness, strong conservative. Then you will have served Arizona well, and you will have served America well. Keep going, Rush.
Never gonna be pretty.
My friends, that vote alone, he preferred Kasich. That vote alone means his fellow Republicans should have lifted him up, carried him out to the sidewalk, and deposited him next to the trash. God knows what someone was thinking when they were voting for John Kasich, who is a complete zero, a complete asswipe, a complete nothing. Keep going, Rush.
What he wants to say. It writes here that it's
And something is wrong with the Republican Party. Fortunately, something is very right with the Republican Party, and that's the fact that Donald Trump has arrived. He's taken over the party, and he is resurrecting it in a much better, more patriotic form. Thank you, President Trump. We'll be right back.
We know our government is out of control. It's no longer our servant, it's become our master. Listen to me. Liberty Forum with the Freedom Rider will answer the question, what can we do? Our freedom and liberty is at stake. It's time to act. Those who have given everything to this country would expect no less. Tune in to the new Liberty Forum radio show Friday at 9 a.m.
ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessing of liberty for ourselves and our posterity, to ordain and establish this Constitution.
In catastrophe struck, your family be prepared. Are you confident in what react to the panic? Is there one place to get all of your emergency supplies? There is Survival encourages you to have confidence through preparation, not panic through crisis. There is Survival, located at 3366 South Broadway, is a professional, reputable, full-service business providing quality, realistic preparedness supplies at an affordable price. Go online, stop by, or call 303-781-0343. There is Survival.
All right, guys, let's talk about the collapse of Western civilization, shall we? I'm sorry, what's that? You think I'm kidding? Here's Bill Whittle.
video
what's the greatest high school in the history of the world. The American population is a total network of 70 million borrowers. 70 million borrowers originally borrowed a private sector. That's the other large private bank. And if you're a private person who can't make your own money, that would be a rather attractive candidate. And what we are seeing here is nothing more than the fig leaf of taking that $70 trillion from the people that have buried it and giving it to people and the entrepreneurs who live in our cities. We have $50 billion budget errors. We don't have the money right. It's gone. It's wrong there. We lost 50,000 million dollars in number one rent.
My friends, I'm going to put this video up on Riell Truth Radio on Facebook. Why this? I've only gone through 7.5 minutes of it. It's 26.5 minutes long. It took place a couple of years ago, but that's okay. It's every bit as relevant as it is today. We are in decline, and it is liberal politics that is bringing us down. That's why we've got to defeat liberal politicians and get rid of liberal policies. Does that make sense? For example, from Bloomberg, how big is Illinois' pile of unpaid bills? Even the state's chief fiscal officer doesn't know for sure. My friends, Illinois has been a Democrat stronghold for eons, for millennia. And they're so in the red. They're so lost, so dazed and confused, so hapless, that they're never going to find the hole that they need to crawl themselves out of. Those are liberal policies. That's liberal economics. You keep voting for it, the country's going to continue to get worse. It's just that simple. We'll be back with more Riell Truth. Don't go anywhere, for Pete's sake. Don't forget about Pete. For your sake, don't go anywhere.
Howdy, folks. Have you ever thought about having your own backyard chicken? Now you have a source for certified organic, no GMO, no soy chicken feed. HappyHens.biz can even deliver, or you can pick up. Call me, Tim, at 303-829-5948. Or go to HappyHens.biz for pricing and ingredients. At HappyHens.biz, we love Happy Hens. Call us at 303-829-5948. Increase on price of all the managed cannabis, and all of the veterans that found for you. We salute you and thank you for your service and sacrifice. We understand that freedom comes with a price. Our prayers go with you and your family. Stay safe, stay strong, and may God bless America. This military tributes from Cane Creek Manufactured Homes in Indiana. Visit them online at canecreekmhc.com. On the air, so the Riell Truth and better. We hold these truths and keep them better. Not all men are created equal. That they are endowed by the Creator with certain unalienable rights. That among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That to secure these rights, governments are instituted among them, deriving their just power from the consent of the government. This, the American movement. Your words could be the
All right, guys, you know what I think I'm going to do? What Bill Whittle is saying is so important. By the way, this is from the David Horowitz Freedom Center TV, which is also an organization you should get familiar with. They do good stuff. I'm going to stick with Bill Whittle talking about how our civilization is collapsing and why and what we can do about it. Go ahead, Bill.
We know why Hillary Clinton.
All right, my friends, like I said, I'm going to post this. I already have posted it on my Facebook page, Riell Truth Radio. If you want to cut through the science, I'm with you. But what he's saying about society, very important, very insightful, worth listening to. Item from Sporting News. The NFL's once golden network TV numbers continue to drop. NFL games averaged 15.1 million viewers through Week 7, according to Nielsen. That's down 5.1%. And down 18.7% from the 18.35 million viewers during the same period in 2015. Viewership numbers are lagging for a variety of reasons, not the least the ongoing protest against the national anthem, unquote. My friends, these lunkhead, these brainless jocks who are taking a knee should drop to their other knee and thank God for the NFL, because without it, they'd be flipping burgers or they'd be shoveling neighbors' driveways for a few bucks. These are not the intellectual cream of the crop. These are a bunch of big, strong, aggressive morons. They're trying to be cool, trying to be popular, trying to be edgy, but they're just big, strong, stupid morons who should be fired, by the way. We'll take a break and we'll come back and wrap it up.
We have extensive experience with utility internet systems, associated capabilities, a lot of emergency lighting, all the way to scale power. We claim a full service number. We service everything we sell. We provide and design turnkey packages, custom design systems for do-it-yourself. With more than 20 years of specialized experience in inventory, let us know what your power concerns or goals are. Reach us by phone or the internet. Call 303-239-9963. That's 303-239-9963. Or go to GreatPlains.com. Simplify your supplementation with Bio Superfood, the most advanced nutritional supplement you can buy. Children, even Olympic athletes the world over have discovered Bio Superfood from VitalAge.com. And now it's just a nutritional supplement instead of the Bio Superfood formula are multiple products supposedly with all the most nutrient-dense algae found on Earth. Bio Superfood for the brain with focus and if you can cook the rest of the body is a supplement. Bio Superfood has little toxicity and is safe for you and your family. Learn more and order your Bio Superfood formula at VitalAge.com. Because VitalAge.com. VitalAge.com.
Item from USA Today. Kellogg's will be redesigning Corn Pop cereal boxes after a complaint about racially insensitive art on the packaging. The Battle Creek, Michigan-based cereal and snack maker said on Twitter Wednesday it will replace the cover drawing of cartoon characters shaped like corn kernels populating a shopping mall. The Corn Pop characters are shown shopping, playing in an arcade, or frolicking in a fountain. One skateboards down an escalator. What struck Saladin Ahmed was that a single brown Corn Pop was working as a janitor operating a floor waxer. Ahmed, current writer of Marvel Comics' Black Bolt series and author of the 2012 fantasy novel Throne of the Crescent Moon, took up to Twitter on Tuesday to ask, quote, why is literally the only brown Corn Pop on the whole cereal box the janitor? This is teaching kids racism, unquote. I beg to differ. I think this is teaching kids that Saladin Ahmed is a horse's ass. He's raised the stink over a drawing of a Corn Pop. Number one. Number two, what's wrong with working as a janitor? It's good. honest work, helps people, keeps you off the welfare rolls. What's wrong with working as a janitor? Maybe Saladin Ahmed spent too much time of his life reading comic books. He should try real life. Item from Fox News. President Trump, in a wide-ranging sparring session with reporters Wednesday afternoon, blasted Hillary Clinton over new revelations her campaign helped fund the salacious anti-Trump dossier last year, calling the project a disgrace and claiming the tables have turned on Democrats over the Russia hoax. Unquote. Yes, my friends, for about the 11, maybe 12 millionth time, Democrats have been shown to be sleazebags. Who would have guessed? Item from Jihad Watch. An imam in Toronto named Ayman El-Kasrawi prayed that Allah would kill all the Jews. In a sane society, newspapers would be investigating the prevalence of Islamic anti-Semitism in the area mosques and among Muslims in general. But this isn't a sane society. This is Trudeau's Canada. So instead of focusing on Islamic anti-Semitism, the Toronto Star has published an exhaustively lengthy piece portraying El-Kasrawi as the real victim, a shy, inarticulate lug who wouldn't hurt a fly, especially a Jewish one, and whose words were mistranslated and misrepresented by racist, bigoted, right-wing Islamophobes. He didn't mean it, the Star tells us. In fact, says the Star's Arabic experts, he didn't even say it. Unquote. My friends, if it seems the Toronto Star is deaf, dumb, blind, stupid, and has its head up its ass, well, because it is, and it does. It's a liberal newspaper which used to be an oxymoron. Newspapers used to report news objectively. Now you have liberal newspapers. It's an oxymoron with the emphasis on the moron part. I don't know why imams like that are allowed in Western countries. Shouldn't be. Don't know why there are Muslim mosques in Western countries. Shouldn't be. Because as long as there are, there will be Islamic horror perpetrated in Western countries. And that's about as meaningful a moment as I could ever select on which to end this broadcast week. We are done. I will be back on, let's see, we'll try Monday. I'll be back on Monday with more Real Truth, my friends. Take it to heart because I don't say it lightly. When I sign off and I tell you to stay safe, stay healthy, and stay angry, because if you don't stay angry, then the bad guys will win because they're angrier. Have a good weekend. Bye-bye.